So the tree is all finished now. I thought I would just show you. Along with the eggs, I have vintage glass ornaments that some were on my parents' tree, some I've collected over the years. This one probably was on their tree. It's a little angel ornament made out of an egg. I didn't get a chance to show you that one because I was fixing that upstairs. But there's glass ornaments. This is a really old one here. And then there's also these red cardinals. My mom and I made them. I think I have a dozen of them in the tree. They're kind of stuck here and there. They just add a little pop of red. I have a couple of these. I bought those at, I think, Eaton's years ago. So it's a royal mixture. These I've made. I've always loved, you know, the old-fashioned tinsel on a tree. Well, you can't really find that anywhere anymore. Well, you can, but I don't use it. I have chip here. That's not really good for them. So I just got a length of that rolled stuff, and I just cut it into pieces. And actually, it looks kind of funny like this, but when you put the lights on, it just sparkles. It's so pretty. This ornament here is a vintage ornament that was my husband's family's. It's just somebody must have made it, but it's very old. So that is the only ornament he has from his family tree. It's precious. Someday we'll give that one to Jonathan. So lots of glass on here. Here's an ornament that was given to me by a friend who did beading back in the day. And there's a little ornament that I think my Aunt Margaret gave that one to me. She was doing those. Almost everything on this tree. Here's another one made by that same person that did the bell. And I think there's a little angel somewhere. I have a couple of birds, vintage birds. This one is very, very special. This is an ornament given to me by my friend. And it's my 4 best friends in the world. There's John, who's very sick right now. Get better, John. Sharon, she's gone. Al, he's remarried. And Denise, she's still here. Hi, Denise. What else is different on here? Oh, here's a handmade ornament that my husband got from his family. An ornament for our new home. That one is for this home, but we have one from, I don't know where that one is. I'll have to find it. I made these when I was 8. Another cardinal, another cardinal. Here's an ornament that came with a, what's that, 1996, came with the pictures. You know, when you take your child for, oh, and there's a dove. I'm looking for, this bell was on my mom's tree. All my bells, actually, these kind of bells were all on her tree. Oh, and then there's this. Jonathan has one. I'm going to give this one to him too. He has one that is a nutcracker. You pull it. This is the one here. This is the one that was given to us the first Christmas we were married, to the newlyweds. That was from Gary's sister and family 40 years ago. Yeah, so that's my tree. And at the very top, is a very vintage angel. The same angel that was on my Christmas tree as a child. And that angel actually came from my brother, my oldest brother. When he was just a teenager, he got a job at a gas station. At Christmas time, the gas stations would give you gifts for filling up gas, and that year it was these angels. So that year he brought 2 home, and he kept one for himself, and the other one went on the tree. So growing up, there was always 2 of these angels around, and so what he would do was we would put one on the tree, and that's this one. And his angel, he always put it in my room beside my bed, and so I would go to sleep with that angel lit up all the time. It's so great. There was one more. Oh, here's another bell. This bell was on my mom's tree. That's the newest ornament that I have. I bought that one at Canadian Tire about 15 years ago. I just thought it was so cute. It's glass. So that's the tree. And we always put it here. Oh, here, I'll show you. Look what's going by. These are our snowplows. Wait for it. Oh, great. He's making another big drift across our driveway. Lovely. Thanks so much. Yeah. So now you know what a Canadian snowplow looks like. Yeah, what was I saying? We put our tree here because it's in the middle. If we're having a meal, we can look at it. If we're in the living room, we can look at it. We like it here. It's a nice sunny day today. And I mentioned a snowman that sits on my piano. This is the one. The pattern that I'm making with my slow stitch one, but the one that I'm making, I made this years ago. It's very crude, to be honest with you. But I'm remaking it again, and I'm going to slow stitch the whole thing, and I'm going to make it look really great, I think. I'm going to try. I crocheted this little doll. I used to do a lot of these. And the other thing is, this is just one tree. I'll try and go slow. I have a little tree upstairs in my studio, and that is covered with, there are some store-bought things, but it's covered with my other handmade ornaments, and that is the Victoriancrochet ornaments that I used to do. Years ago, I had a little crochet business, and I made Victoriancrochet ornaments all year round, really, but for sure at Christmas time I did the tree ornaments. But I'll take you upstairs and I'll show you that one, and I'll put that in here too. I only have probably 8 of those ornaments, but I did about 25 different ornaments, not counting angels or snowflakes. I also did them as well. And one year I was at I used to do several craft sales a year, and this is what I was selling. Here he comes again. There he goes. He's got his blade up. No, he's got his blade down. I would do several craft sales a year, and one year I had my tree loaded up with these ornaments, and a lady came in and she stood there for the longest time looking at them all, and she never said anything. You know, usually people say, oh, these are nice, or, you know, how long did it take to make them? You know, the natural questions that you would get from people. But this lady just stood there. She didn't, and then she walked away. And then she came back and she stood there. So I tried to get a conversation with her, but she really wasn't interested in talking to me. She just was looking at these ornaments. And then finally, she said to me, she says, would you consider doing a complete tree, commissioning a complete tree? And I said, I wasn't quite understanding what she was saying. She says, would you do enough ornaments for a complete tree? And I thought, oh my gosh, my ornaments were selling from $6 to $10 a piece. And I says, well, how big of a tree? She says, well, 8 feet, 9 feet. And I thought, oh my God, that's going to be like a lot of ornaments. She says, what would you charge to do? And I says, well, I don't know. Like, I had never been asked that question before. I had no idea. She says, well, just give me a figure. So I says, well, give me your phone number and can you just let me think about it for it? She says, of course. So she gave me her number. And I went home and I was terribly excited about it, but I was also kind of scared in a way, because she didn't want it for that year. She wanted it for the following year. And I thought, well, you know, I would have a year to do it, but like, how am I going to do that? So I worked it out, you know, something that would be fair to me and fair to her. I gave her a call and I gave her a quote. And she said, okay. She says, will you do that for me? And I said, yeah, sure. She says, the only thing is, she says, can you do it in finer thread? And all of mine were done in size 10 crochet cotton. She says, can you do it a little bit finer? I said, yeah, I can. So I think I did 150 ornaments, and I think there was 50 snowflakes, and then there was a big treetop angel at the top. The whole thing was crocheted. And I think I actually even crocheted a garland, like a thick chain that and I never did get a picture of it. I did see, she brought me a picture and showed it to me when it was all done. I just delivered the ornaments and she put them on the tree. And she lived in a big house in River Heights, Winnipeg, which is kind of maybe a little bit upper class neighborhood. And they had, I don't know how, it was an older home and the ceiling was really, really high. I don't know how many feet. And this tree went right to the top and it was gorgeous. I actually started to cry when I saw the picture, because I just couldn't imagine what a whole tree would look like, just all crochet. And it was all done in ecru. There was no white on it at all. It was all ecru. And she had a lace tablecloth that had belonged to her mother as the tree skirt with a red fabric underneath. And it wasn't even red. It was more burgundy red. Oh, it just was stunning. Anyway, I will show you, I'll take you upstairs and show you a few of those ornaments, but I don't have all of them. I over the years, I just, you know, somebody said, oh, is that ever cute? And I just pick it off of the tree and give it to them. So I don't have that many of those left. But I often kind of had an idea to do a complete tree of my own, just to say I did it. But then what would I do with those ornaments after? I don't know. Anyway, I'll take you upstairs and I'll show you some of the ornaments. So here is my little tree upstairs. And this is actually the tree that I used to take to my craft sale and fill with my ornaments. And as they were sold, I would just replace them. So here are the little crochet ones that I'm talking about. There was a fan, a gentleman's top hat, and where is the one? I'll have to reach it in here. A lady's hat, a bear, and I also made a snowman. I just used the same pattern. I just did 3 round balls and then I put a top hat and, you know, decorate him like a snowman. There's a skate. There's also a lady's old-fashioned high boot. There's a soldier. There's, whoops, a cornucopia. There's also a nosegay. There's a mouse, which I'm going to actually make a mouse later on in the Vlogmas, because I'm going to send one to Olive. There's a different type of fan. There's pineapples, like this one. What else is there? There's baskets. There's a pear, an apple. I'm trying to remember all the different. There's quite a few more. Like there's sort of a blouse, a top half of a dress type of thing. The bears, these were always my bestseller, these ones here, because I made them more specialized. For instance, here's a skier who has fallen. See, he's fallen on his butt. I've made hockey players, I've made bowlers, I've made baseball players, I have made every sport that you can think of in a bear. I've made every occupation that you can think of in a bear. I've made bakers, I've made nurses, I've made doctors, I've made even a judge. I put a wig on his head. I've made them for Mother's Day, for Father's Day, for birthdays, for weddings. I've made bride and grooms. I have made so many. I think at my last count, I was up somewhere around 4,000 bears that I had made since I began this. And I started making these crocheted things back in the 70s. And then there was the snowflakes. I think there was like 25 different snowflakes, and then angels, little angels, big angels, in-between angels, flat angels, sculptured angels. And I'll put a picture of some of my angels, the big angels, right here for you to see. Oh yeah, there was a record player, there was church, a little church. Oh, there was so many different things. So these are just what I've got left over. And usually if somebody comes and they say, oh, I like that, I just pick it off the tree and give it to them, because why wouldn't I? I can always make more. The crochet, what I would do with these is I would crochet like 25 bears at one time, the pieces of them, and then I would assemble them all together. I starch them and then I assemble them. And I do have videos on that on my blog, or on my channel. I mean, there are lots of videos on starching them. I've shown how I've done it. So yeah, that's the other little tree. And of course, this one has my dolls, some of my dolls underneath it. And that Santa that I made, I have a series on making that Santa as well.